Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Core Energy Experience. I'm your host, Kurt Bruckmann. Next to me is...
I am also your host, Alex Fabio, aka Monk Punk. I also want to give a shout out to our videographer tonight, Kimberlee Petillo.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mike Charapa, who had us in Dim Studios tonight. So tonight we have the incredible honor of being joined by our guest, who's not only a great friend of mine, but an artist who's an active staple in the Asbury Park music scene currently, and playing in bands like Dico In The Roses, Not Yer Baby, Straight Jacket Feeling. He plays guitar as a studio musician to a lot of other artists' records. He's performing live at the coveted See Here Now Festival on the Asbury Park Beach alongside Hosier, Blink-182, and so many more this month in Asbury Park. And he's also a full-time barber at Handsome Devil Barber Shop in Belmar, New Jersey, where I've gotten my hair cut before and will continue to because he's my barber. So please welcome, for the very first time, to the Core Energy Experience, the one, the only, Joey Dicamillo.
Yeah.
What's up? Dude, you really know your stuff. It's so official. I gotta hire you to do my intros around. Like, if I had you as a wingman, like in this way earlier, wow, life.
Dude, yeah, got to step it up as a co-host, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling like I have to say something about the wonderful crew tonight of Kim doing a phenomenal job. I also have to say, you guys are married. There's a little insider baseball going on here.
I know. I got the ring, man. It's crazy.
No, I'm actually really I'm really impressed with the setup, the gear, the professionalism that you guys took, like getting this right and everything. This is like really cool. It's more than I expected. So that is my first thought.
Killer, dude. Awesome.
We like it.
We're happy to have you here, and I'm happy to be in front of the camera with Kurt for this episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, Kurt, can you, to start out, just lay out what the 4 core principles of core energy dynamics are?
Sure. Joey and I were discussing off camera a little bit. So the core energy dynamics, there's layers, but we start with 4 concentrations that all people have. 3 of us, Kim, all the audience, everyone. And it's leadership, well-being, performance, and transition.
Amazing. So, Joey, how this is going to work more or less is, you've had an absolutely earth-shattering last few years.
I'm at least, luckily, a little more than that now, so which is nice. I'm a little more away from that, but yes.
I'm glad. It's been a wild ride, and what I'd love to do is kind of take that ride with you tonight and discuss kind of the massive shifts that you've had in your life. Kurt helps people all over the world to kind of like dig deeper and understand deeper kind of the things they go through in their life and show up with the most energy they can to come out on the other side. So I feel like we have a kind of like a mastermind group here, our success posse, as we like to put it.
There we go.
And so it'll be cool to kind of put that together. So by the end of the conversation, hopefully we'll be able to have our audience learn a little bit more about you. And hopefully you get to have a nice new perspective on things that have gone on in your life. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I would say you gotta get a little more successful person than me. I'm like successful.
No way, man. Hey, you gotta remember, success is in the moment. It's not just the final product.
I'm playing.
Absolutely,
dude. I love it.
It's cool.
So before we really dive into what's happened recently, first I would love to start kind of like how we met.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm so curious. Like, are you gonna say? Because I actually tell a little bit of like Freddie, like you and Freddie's like origins of like that, like your whole crew and how I know you guys. I like kind of tell that story a lot behind the chair. Actually,
really,
you'd be surprised how much I bring you guys up in a way of. Yeah, I'm just curious of what your thing is.
Well, to be honest, I don't remember. I was going to ask you the very first time that we met. I don't remember.
That must have been some night.
Yeah. You never call me back.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a. I think like earliest. I don't have a very specific like the first time. I could tell you. I think is one of the first times like genuinely around. I remember the moment that I thought these thoughts that I'm going to share with you was at the it was probably around that Firehouse show in Homedale with I know Crosstown Train played. I'm not sure if you guys played, but it was Match. Like we actually have video of it from the Batten days.
What year, Joey? Do you remember?
This has got to be 2013. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, the gist of it for me was like like how I'm even sitting here at all, actually, why I'm even sitting here at all, is because when I grew up in bands my whole life, went from like, whatever, like 8th graders in a garage, just trying to understand how to play anything or do anything.
Hey, Joey, while we're going there, what was a trigger that influenced that? I mean, 8 years old. That's young.
I mean, no, 8th grade. No, I wanted to do music. I mean, if you really want to go dig deep, like my dad played guitar my whole life. So when I was like 2 years old, that was like the first, like, probably one of the first things I had like a little affinity for. But I didn't pick it back up. I didn't like really do anything with it until I was like 9, and even still when I was 9, I just had a guitar and I liked the guitar and I knew I loved it so much, but I couldn't play for shit. Like I didn't even get lessons yet. I just looked at it, strummed it. I went to a fucking I was in like 7th grade and we had like a talent show or show and tell day and I brought my guitar in. I literally could not play it because I didn't know how to play, but I was in too deep because I brought it with me, so everyone expected me to play. So I just fucking fiddled with the knobs for like 20 minutes, pretending like I'm setting my amp up when in reality I'm just fucking
so it was electric, not acoustic?
Yeah, I went right to electric. I didn't do no acoustic. I went right in. That's what
Dude, that's amazing.
fitting for me.
So let's go there just for a second. Why did you choose the electric over acoustic?
No, I mean, well, it's pretty simple, I think, for that actually. Like, one, I mean, my dad, like, I grew up with like an electric guitar in the house, like not an acoustic. My dad had a Gibson Les Paul, which my brother has now, like a 90s model. It was very cool. I'm going to play that. I'm going to play that Les Paul. Let's see here now. I'm going to grab it from my brother because he has it.
I can't wait to be there and watch it.
You're going to see it. Yeah, I really. Now I have to fucking do it because I'm saying it. I have to go to Philly and pick it up now. 100%. But yeah, I mean, like basically, and we're going like so far back, and there's like I have just if you're interested by this, I have just pantheons of like we have.
So I kind of wanted to start by laying this out. When I met you, I don't remember the exact moment, but I remember so we met through the local music scene.
Yeah.
And we were in high school, we were in bands, and you were in the sickest band to us in the whole local music scene. So, I mean, you guys were packing out the VFW like every month, and people were like jumping off the stage, piling on, like everyone.
It was like 100+ kids too. So let me put a pin right there. That's like the most important thing. What Alex said. This is how I want to connect everything right now, real quick. Like, right. So Alex's take on my band, right? So to go back to that, like I started in music because I was an electric guitar in the house, and honestly, I was probably like fucking, again, 9 or 10 years old, and my dad was whipping us around in his little 86 Vet, and he's playing a CD, and the CD is U2's greatest hits from 80 to 90. Because they had two greatest hits at 90 to fucking whatever, and they had 80 to 90. So like, what? Give me a band that gets 2 greatest hit CDs, okay?
Unbelievable.
And track one, side one of that CD is Pride in the Name of Love. And if you don't know U2, if you don't like U2, I don't care. Fucking listen to that song. If you want to, if you know, that's all you need to know is like the opening riff to that. I don't know. I was young, and I've always had like an affinity for music in a way that it just did something to my body. And like when I heard that riff, I just remember being like, whatever this sound is, whatever this feeling I have is, it's just that guitar riff. I'm telling you right now. I was like, this is it for me. Like I need to do this, not necessarily just be in a band because I didn't have the concept of all that, but I heard that riff and I felt this fucking thing, and I was like, I need to put this back out into the world. And I do think that is like the core of like why I make music and what it is because there's this thing where it's like I feel these things and I need to translate. And that sounds like basic when I say it like that, but I mean, there isn't a broader scope to it. Like I would do this, under any circumstance. Like I just knew I needed to like somehow harness whatever that fucking riff was doing to me and then put my own version of that back out into the world, right? So that really kickstarted a lot of it. Obviously I was drawn to it, and then I got my first guitar. I was terrible. I took lessons. My buddy, for the first time, lessons were terrible because I fucking learned like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and shit. Yeah. And like it wasn't until my buddy who shredded at like 13. It was like I had the guitar for years, just a couple of years kicking around. But when I was 13, my buddy Matt Gavigan, if he's out there listening to this, wherever he's at, like fucking, hey dude, he sat me down. He was like, yo, you want to learn fucking Sweet Home Alabama and like that cool little riff, like that like D chord riff?
Yeah.
I felt like the most powerful human being on earth, like being able to play that riff and replicate it, and it was just so fucking cool and so satisfying. And then I took real lessons, and I I stopped taking lessons once I thought I knew enough. But I'm skipping a couple things, obviously, because there's so much meat to the story, and I guess I don't want to bog it down with like a lot of that stuff. Unless you want to go there.
Now you point out the core, so that's cool to hear. That's part of who you are.
Oh yeah,
it actually
awesome.
Makes sense now hearing you say the U2 connection in your playing, because you were also one of the first lead guitar players that I saw, especially in like the kind of pop punk quasi alternative scene, playing with a delay pedal. That was like super unique to me.
That first Batten tune, that big one, Igloos, man.
And I'd love to take it to Batten Down the Hatches, because like I said, to me, like that was such a massive influence on me and on Freddie and my friends. And like you specifically taught me what a basement show was and like how to do it yourself punk rock. So it changed my life.
Like, dude, all right, thank you, man. So like that seat, all right, here's the whole thing, right? What you said earlier, where you're like, your perception of me at the time, for our origin was like, we're in the coolest band ever, right? So what everyone needs to understand and know is that before I met Alex, like I was in a couple local bands, like when I was even a little bit younger. And I played in a couple of a band called The Fallback with my first band. And we just played, I was in this band called The Fallback, and we played like, Brian was in it, so it was half of Batten was in it, and basically like we started playing VFW shows, and it was like around like 08, 09, and we did that, and we were like fucking 15. Like I played my first show ever.
That's wild.
At the Freehold VFW, okay, like which is a sacred fucking place for the music scene. Even still, it's like a temple in my mind. And I have this. It's on YouTube. You can find it. I'll show it to you. My first show ever in front of human beings.
No way.
It's from 2009.
It's a keeper. Right?
We were terrible, but like, you know what it was though? Like, the thing about it is this: like, I spent 15 to like 18, 19. Like, I spent it in this time where I would go to the shows. There would be the older bands that were older than us and therefore better, actually influencing things, like being cool, whether it's the Years Gone By or Someday Never or Streets of Fire, like all these bigger local bands, right? And we just just looked up to all those bands, and we wanted to fucking be that. Like we wanted to like have an audience, right? I played so many fucking shows to nobody but my dad in the crowd. And even though numerically now I've gone on to play to hundreds, I've played to thousands of people now, which is very nice to say. Like, and I've said this my whole life, like even if, when I go beyond all this, I could literally sell out a fucking world tour 3 times over, a jet setting every fucking gig. I could be on the Oasis tour, and I will still feel like the most amount of shows I've ever played was just to my dad and the sound guy. Wow. And that feeling, right, will never leave me, because I wanted it so bad to like people to give a fuck and like to actually influence, and not like influence for the sake of influencing, but I mean just to like actually fucking like shift something and move something in people. And like the fact that I was like 15, 16, 17, like we were just too young. We were just too young. We weren't good enough. Like that's all it really is. We're just too fucking young to actually like have that ability to like really like make something truly meaningful. People supported us. Our friends came out, but it wasn't the same. And we also wanted guidance from like the older bands, and we got it here and there, but there wasn't much of like a culture where we were really like, I'm not saying it was gatekept, but it just wasn't like, we weren't anyone's like necessarily like little brother band at the time. Like, and my first band, right? We got some help like later on with Batten from bands bigger than us. But like the bottom line is like, I spent my age when I was Alex's age and a little younger still, where we were just clawing for, like, there's no fucking manual for being in a rock band. There's no class. I wish there was. I said that all the time. I fucking wish there was.
Right.
Like, there's nothing. There's just the word of mouth. There's the experiences of people doing it. And it's this fucking complete cowboy lawlessness where we're talking about local bands. We're not talking about established industry where there's like standards and things, and you deal with certain agents and advances and like etiquette stuff. No, the etiquette stuff is fucking word of mouth, basement shows, DIY spaces, backyards, VFW halls, right?
Huge
Backs
work.
of coffee houses.
A lot of work going on.
Yeah, absolutely. But this whole culture exists, and there's no real, like, at the time at least, there's no real like standardization. The internet wasn't even as big. Twitter wasn't like popping. Like there wasn't a lot of like, the DIY scene as a whole is so established now that there is a lot of these touchstones that you could say like, this is how you fucking act and things like that. But when I was 16, we didn't really get like under anyone's wing. So I just remember like it happened fast for us, but when I got into my basically like my second or third band really, which is Batten Down The Hatches, which is again another pop punk band that we formed like at the end of high school. And I mean, from day one, our first show, like, so we put a song out and we recorded it, and like we were all raw at everything, but we recorded it with another kid and we put it out, and then we played our first show. And I mean, first show ever at Zebu Forno in Freehold, New Jersey. It went fucking crazy. Like, the show went nuts, and I remember being like, holy shit, like, I've never had this reaction, like people reacting to songs we wrote. Like, I've just never had that. I've seen it. I've seen kids crowd surf. I've seen people mosh. I've seen people sing along. I'm telling you, like, we had Igloos, that song Igloos out. And I've just never, ever had that for me. And for us, right? So
that was sort of like newfound energy.
Well, like. I mean, yeah, well, it was the beginning. It was the first show. It was the beginning of something. And then it just like, it really snowballed into what Alex is saying. So now, you know, we're fast forwarding now, like now I'm like 18. We're like 18, 19. Like we're like better at being musicians, better at writing songs, like better at creating something that actually fucking.
We had all those years of experience behind you.
And we didn't even think about it. We just didn't chalk it up to anything other than, like, we didn't think about it at the time, right? Sure. So like when we started like getting traction, we were still even too young, even at 19, to realize how well we were doing at that time. Because we were pulling like 150 kids a show.
Totally.
And like that is what it is, but it also is a lot for like where we used to look up at this band called The Years Gone By. And back in the day in like 08, 09, even earlier than that, honestly, from like 06 to like fucking to 10, 11.
You guys were part of the groundbreakers.
No, like we weren't. Like the ground was broken on this music scene. Like it's hard. Like there can be a whole other podcast on the local music scene here.
Absolutely,
it's so deep.
Let's do it.
It's so much. But like basically, like in eras of bands before us, The Years Gone By, were from Freehold, were the groundbreakers. They were the biggest fucking band that wasn't Bruce Springsteen from here, that was like moving and shaking, and they got on Rise Records, and like they were just massive, right? The whole town came out for them, and it was something like I've never seen. And
I remember, yeah, definitely.
Like we wanted to be that. So before we knew it, like when we met you guys, like it was happening for us. And I remember being like so grateful and so like in awe that like we were getting this kind of traction. But because when we met you guys, like we started playing these shows, and then we started like younger bands started coming up, just a little younger than us. Like we're only 19, but like bands that were like 15 and 16 started playing shows with us and shit.
That was me and Fred.
And that was in comes Alex and Freddie and his whole crew.
And Joey Crochet.
Yeah, Joey Crochet. Dude, Arno, like his whole crew with like I remember even Phil, like everybody, like
Phil McGarry.
You know, and everyone across town trained. Like basically this whole subsect of kids starts coming up with these shows that we don't recognize, and we're like, oh shit, like there's other bands coming up that are younger than us now. And all I remember very distinctly remembering being like, yo, like, and it was around that Firehouse show. And I don't exactly know what it was, but it was around that Firehouse show. And I just remember being like, very consciously was like, yo, like, I'm going to, like, all of us were going to, like, be accessible to these kids. And we were, that was purposeful. We were like, I want to explain everything that we're doing, why we're doing it, what's going on, how to do shit, how to think about throwing a show, how, like any questions they had, like we wanted to do something that we never got, which was just like give a little roadmap. And like our roadmap wasn't fucking big ourselves, but we got help eventually from other bands bigger than us at that time that threw us a couple gems and a couple pieces of advice. Giants of Large and Major League were two of the ones.
Yeah, you guys ended up playing with so many awesome bands, state champs with the Punches. I mean, you guys were killing it at that time. And like to us, like we idolized like that whole group of bands. They were touring, they were doing kind of putting out these bigger records. And so it was really nice for you guys to kind of lend that hand to us, because like you said, there is no roadmap. It's like we had no idea what to do, how to put on a show, how to get on a show at all that wasn't like a pay to play gig. And you guys were like, no, you can put on your own show. And that was just mind blowing.
Well, we grew up in the pay to play era. Yeah. And it was fucking terrible. I'm sure even like Matt here from Dim can talk about that a lot. Like,
absolutely.
Before that, dude, like before Batten, it was Jersey shows and it was Catch the Hook Entertainment. Like that was it. And a lot of those, like, I don't even care who was behind all the stuff. Like, I don't even care about any of that. I don't care about specifics. I just care knowing that at the time, being a band that was 16 years old, it was hard to play shows because we always had to, like, basically advance our ticket sales and like give a lot of money up front to get on stuff. And like we did do it, but it was just like, it's not like, it's not even those, I don't even think it's those promotional companies like their
Well, it's like don't hate the player, hate the game kind of thing. At the moment, that was a hot way to run a business.
That was just how it works. Like it wasn't about,
but it made it hard as a teenager to create a scene even.
I think that model, which exists even still in New York and some venues that just don't get it, like that model doesn't promote authenticity in a music scene.
No,
regardless of who was doing it or why. I'm not saying it was for bad reasons, because I don't think that. I just think that that model just doesn't promote like a legitimate music scene, right? And like when we came up with Batten, like those places weren't really around, and we were just old enough where we're like, we can just fucking do it. Like we could just book the fucking hall, and we can just like cover the overhead with like selling X amount of tickets, even at like $10, because we didn't want to charge more than that. And like it fucking worked. And like it worked because kids wanted to go and support, right? Kids wanted to have something like that. And it was real. And it was so real. It was so real that when we played a fucking thing to play Bamboozle.
Oh, I remember this.
It was one of those fucking bullshit contests where they're like, oh, it's the pay-to-play model again, essentially, because they were like, oh, you do the Battle of the Bands and you get to play this big festival. But the Battle of Bands, you know how they're fucking judging it? They're judging it by, like, your ticket sales, right? Who comes in
and whoever had the richest parents would buy the most tickets.
Whoever made the most money for the... No, but it's fucking true. It's not real. So here's the thing. Like, we were, like, at the time, we were, like, in a real music scene that was forming, right? And, like, yes, Alex, like, it was forming around our band.
It was obvious, though, that a band like that, who had an actual social movement behind it, should represent the scene and play the big festival, though, not some random band who has never played a show that's just buying tickets from their parents.
Which is like in good meaning, I understand that, but like, yeah, we weren't even mad about those people, right? That wasn't even it.
I was mad.
It was bullshit. I'm not even mad about that, right? Because like we've had opportunities where we show those bands up a bunch, and I have a good story about this.
There you go.
In the break contest, the one thing about that is we played it, and I remember one of the judges. I will leave everybody unnamed here because I'm not firing any shots. But like, one of the judges was like,
"We appreciate that." By the way,
sorry. One of the judges was like, "Hey, like, great, yeah, you guys' set was great. It's cool. It's cool. You got all your friends out to come here and like support you." And I was like, because like everyone was going crazy to our stuff, right? Like. And I was like, nah, dude, like, what they didn't get is, like, these aren't, like, yes, they're our friends now because they become to our shows, but, like, nah, man, like, that's our crowd that comes to any gig that was, like, singing and crowd surfing and doing all that shit. That's we put on an actual show with actual fans that actually gave a fuck. And
they became part of the show, it sounds like. You brought them in.
Yeah, totally. We just didn't play a show around the break contest, so we just forced everyone to be like, if you want to come catch us, you have to fucking see us here. Yeah. And it worked, but it also worked in a way where, like, the judges were, like, not used to seeing, they were used to just seeing, like, you know, bullshit support or parents that buy the tickets, whatever. We like had actual kids that gave a fuck came out and they thought it was a ruse. I was like, it's not a ruse. This is like actually what being in a band is. Like, we got more cred just from this than anything your festival could ever give us, because that's not really what fucking is going to make us, you know?
Well, you were collaborating with the fans, and that's huge, you know, a huge part of what we should be doing, right? Collaboration is great. Bringing them into what you were putting out there.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even that we like brought them in as much as we just like it's just strategic booking where we were just like, okay, like we're gonna go on a blackout of like local shows, and then we're just gonna play the break contest. And that will be our local show, and it's just if you want to see us, that's where you go see us. We didn't we did nothing. Like people came to see us that wanted to come see us.
Well, obviously your talent was standing out too, in a big way. You know?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like, you know, like we just did something that people gave a fuck about, and that like that whole journey of that like broke a lot of. I think that's really what the bottom line of this stuff is. Like, I was in a band that kids genuinely gave a fuck about, right? And having that experience was one, just for me, earth-shattering, right? And like mind-bending, and like understanding like what you can do in this world, and like that the limit doesn't fucking exist, right? That you thought it did. And then two, like that authenticity breaks through every piece of bullshit that can come around your band. Like it doesn't matter. We played a show at the Howell Relay for Life at the back of the Howell High School on the track. It was like music video style. We're like on the fucking middle of the track, right? And the event was like a walk for cancer things, a Relay for Life. It's very cool.
Oh, that's nice. It's cool, yeah.
There was another band that played though, right? And this band that played, like, they had some like mommy and daddy money, and again, I won't name names, but they had some mommy and daddy money, and they were like pushed by this like little institution locally, and they got some like radio play in like fucking South America or something. Like they thought they were like a big fucking deal, and they definitely were a mommy and daddy project money thing, right? It wasn't real, you know.
Right.
So they played. They're just part of the event. People walk the track. Is what it is, right?
And that was it.
We played after them. The fucking event ended. Everyone came into the track area. People stopped in the center of the field, like the grass. People stopped walking the fucking track. We actually paused the event. Not because we wanted to. We just, our set and what we did, all the fucking kids, man, like everyone came to the center. Like we fucked their event up. And it just became a Batten show. And I will never forget, like we played in the middle of this fucking football field. And like, dude, I mean, we were so many, that night we were like kids, like first time ever crowd surfing, ever seeing a band like that, ever like, you know, having that kind of experience. And like to this day in Asbury Park at 32 years old, people come up to me and they're like, dude, I was at that Relay for Life show. That was my first fucking gig ever. Like I know people personally that I'm friends with now. They're like, you were my first like experience like that. And like my first time doing that. And like, I don't know that, but that shit, like you can't, it's so, you know, the bullshit will just fucking the bullshit will just not rise to the top, man. It just won't. People
so
they see
part
through
of your
that.
point, you're talking about being authentic. So that rawness comes out in a big way, right? Mm-hmm. Alex and I talk about this with other guests. You know how important it is just to be raw, and that's part of the authenticity that comes out. So as a performer, you know, listening to all this, let me ask, you know, I don't hear anything about fear. About anything that you were doing, I just hear this total courage, man.
No, man.
You know,
I mean,
because you know, fears just sort of happens. It's courage when we have that destination. You know, fear is a reaction, actually.
That's
and
a great
courage is really
I think if you interviewed all of us from that time, you know, like if you interviewed me versus like interviewed Johnny, who was like our front man, like I think he might have a different perspective on that, only because he probably did experience some of that.
Sure.
I could tell you personally, I have never once felt fear on stage in my whole life, ever, like ever. As young as I can remember, as recent as I can remember. I mean, I've gotten to do some insane shit that I'm very, very, like, very grateful for, and even still, like, I feel that I've always felt the most home on stage. I feel the most right on stage. I feel comfortable in front of people. I feel comfortable in front of strangers. I feel comfortable in front of crowds. Like, I love that energy. I love that opportunity to like fucking make something of myself in that moment. I'm not really sure exactly what it is. I would love to quantify it, but like, no, I mean, I never understood people that like have stage fright or like I'm like, no, man, this is a like you get to be the fucking, you get to dictate the energy of the room. Yeah, and like that's where I like bleed between being like a lead guitarist and like being a front person, because like I have the energy and the charisma of a front person. 100%. And like when I do my project, like Dico In The Roses, when I get to be the front person, like I'm a little naked because I'm not playing lead guitar. And I'm doing other stuff that's harder for me to do, including singing, which is very hard for me to do. But the opportunity to just be the maestro of the orchestra, which is the room and the crowd, like I love that, and I feed into that, and I just fucking I can ham it up. I can put a show on, like. And not in like a fucking like, and not even in like a showman way. I don't really consider anything I do like to be like a play or like have that kind of Broadway energy where I'm like, it's a show. But no, but like it is a show. It is entertainment. Like you better be fucking larger than life and in your own way, whatever your way is, you know? And like I've always leaned into that. I've always loved it. I genuinely, it's so alien to think like to be afraid in front of people. I could tell you, I could tell you like the only time I've ever felt any bit of like nervousness at all was doing like Johnny's like he's one of my best friends and the singer at Batten, and he's in Straight Jackets. He's one of my oldest friends now, but I was his best man in his wedding, and I gave a speech, and I remember that was the only time I was like, dude, oh fuck, I was like, this is actually I opened the speech up by being like, yeah, I'll be real with you guys. I was so fucking nervous for this. I started doing skincare, and like that just everyone just cracked up. I was like, all right, we're off, we're fine, you know. But like, to your point, right, about fear, like being a reaction, even to like, I guess, I don't even know, like good things, maybe rising to the occasion, like momentous things, right? Like it's like a normal thing. Like I got to play bass in a band called Modern Chemistry for a little bit, and I got in at the best time because I did the biggest tours of my life with them. They did the biggest tours of their lives, and it was great when I hopped in that band for a bit. Some of my old friends.
Was that some of the Taking Back Sunday era with them?
Yeah. So I hop in this band and like I talk so much, but I'm gonna super condense it to basically I jumped in this band, and when they're doing a couple DIY tours, and then later that year they're like, all right, we got a big one, and they let me know, and they're like, we're gonna be opening up for Taking Back Sunday and Every Time I Die, which are massive major label fucking bands, and we were playing to 40 people a night to then literally 3,000, and the first every show was sold out of this US tour, every single fucking show. And the first 2 nights was a double header at Webster Hall.
Jesus
and
Christ.
sold out, right? And like I remember
coming from Jersey, I mean that is a massive moment.
Yeah, it was so sick, right?
And like Webster packs them in.
Dude, it was. Do you know how cool it was being like, oh, we're gonna load our gear in on stage and then just fucking leave it there overnight?
Right.
Cool.
Right, for the double header.
Oh, we're just gonna leave it. Oh, well, that's good. So like,
and in the grand ballroom, right? At Webster
in the big
Hall?
room, yeah, the biggest room. So ready? We're about to go on first night of this fucking US tour, and like we're about to go on. And like we're opening, so there's still maybe about $1,000 in there. It's not the full, but it's still 1,000 people.
A lot of people.
And like Joe and everyone, we're all getting. We're about to like we're pounding hands, like whatever. That's a weird sentence, pounding hands. It's fucking strange.
we won't go there.
We're like going hands in, you know what I'm saying? And we're about to like go on, and like Joe, our frontman, and I'm sorry to air it out, but he was just like he's like, yo guys, and he's like the frontman. He's got to sing in front of 1,000 people now, so like I feel him, right? But he goes like, yo, he's like, I'm not gonna lie, he's like, guys, I'm a little nervous, you know, and like. Normal human reaction, momentous thing, not a bad thing. Just his nervous system just going fucking, all over because like this, who knows how this can go out, but yeah, it's a good thing, right?
Well, anxiety is part of it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Anxiety can be a motivator. So fear and anxiety are kind of like cousins, you know what I'm saying? And then you have in the middle, you have that courage.
Well, I think it was natural for him to say that. So I remember going up to there was like the 4 of us, right? And we're about to go, and he says like, yo, I'm a little nervous, like, I'm not gonna lie, And I was like, all right, expected. Like the first night of this run, this is gonna be us for like a month. So like here goes, But I remember looking at him and I was like,
cozy.
Yeah. Well, I remember looking at him though, and I go like, I spat this out. I was like, guys, I was like, what? I was like, I get it. I hear you, but like I don't get it because I was like, guys. We're the 3rd coolest group of people in the room right now. there's fucking 2,000 people in here. There are only 2 groups of people cooler than us. And those are the other 2 bands. And they just started crying. They're like, dude, yeah. I was like, yeah, let's fucking get up there. Like, who the fuck cares?
Dude,
you know
that's
what
amazing.
I mean? Because it's so true. I'm like, I just see it like as like this is the coolest fucking thing we get to do.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to number one, like bring them down to earth, but also like let them know like the rise to the moment. Like we're also here to do a thing. We're one of 3 bands that get to do this.
Yes, we get to be on the pedestal for a night, right? And like when you play shows that size, like there is a psychological effect that goes on with the audience where like it doesn't matter what level you think you're at or what you feel you're at. Like physically, when you are on a elevated stage in front of that many people, the audience is framing you as legit. Like it doesn't matter. Like you're legit. Like who gives a fuck that we were just playing to 40 fucking people last month in a gymnasium.
You're on a big stage
in
now.
Nashville. It doesn't matter. We're on the big stage right now, and regardless, we know how much we're getting paid. We know how much like aren't really doing, but the people don't know. They're there for a fucking show. They're there to see a big band. They're there to and you're the opener. You get to do that, and the average person has no genuine grasp of like how down to earth or not your band is. They just see you on the stage, and you need to harness that and live in that and use that to your advantage because like that's the fucking show. And that like people want to see that. Like they don't necessarily want to be it's not a basement show. You know what I'm saying? Something like that, right? Now that is something that's easier to do. Like I'm telling you right now, like it's easier to play a big show like that because you have such a buffer of like we're legit, we're fucking doing it. This looks good. You think we're a big deal. It's almost funny that you might think we're bigger than we are, but you know what I'm trying to say?
I do, because I've experienced that myself. And it's like with that separation, you can actually kind of, if you are feeling nervous, you can be like, I'm just going to do me. And the show still happens and it still looks cool. And you're not missing as much of that middle interaction that happens with like a DIY show or a smaller show
right on
or
top
whatever.
of you, dude.
You're in it. Like if you're not running the fucking room at a DIY show,
it's gonna fall so flat.
It's flat.
Yes,
it's flat.
yes.
Whereas you can let it also at a bigger show just be like a spectacle, and that's still a cool thing to do. It still works.
Yes, that's gonna be us that see here now. Like literally, like the bottom line is like, right, we're gonna play arguably maybe the biggest show. I think actually probably the biggest show. Like,
do you know how many
career.
people attend See Her Now?
A lot, dude. I mean, I easily in Bruce's crowd there was like 40,000 plus people. I mean, like literally like a stadium's worth of people. Like it's gonna be nuts. Are they all gonna be at our set first thing in the morning on Saturday? No. Is there gonna be a sizable crowd that's gonna be coming in to catch us? Yes. Is there going to be any amount of people, once again, catching us on an elevated stage in a big fucking festival? And I feel like people don't know the full story.
Right.
They don't have to know that.
Right.
They just are there for the spectacle. And all we have to do is just do our thing. And like, I'm telling you can get away with so much more because you have all that built-in credibility, like visually, energetically, like, you know, it's a little smoke and mirrors, right? But it's all about the framing, you know, it's the same way. Like if I guarantee you, like a social experiment, like if you took like a very famous person or musician and you just put them in shitty clothes and put them in the subway, like people will walk right by them because they're not. It's not the right context, right?
Totally.
But you know what I mean. You put someone on fucking stage. Main stage of Lollapalooza or something in like ratty clothes. Doesn't fucking matter if they look like that. They're on the main. There must be a big fucking deal. They're big artists. There's something going on. This guy knows something I don't know.
Yeah.
He's on some new wave. He looks like this.
Now you set a trend.
Right. But like you could put some. You know what I'm trying to say? Like whatever it is. Like insert. It's just like a fish out of water thing. Like it just depends on what. There's probably some way to put this better. But like it just depends on what you see as the fucking ocean, dog. That's what matters. Like when you go and You see the fish in the right fucking place. It looks like a fish. It's this. It's that. You put it somewhere else. You know. It's so.
You know, I got to say something as a spectator. You know, we look at the stage in awe. That is part of what you're saying there. You know, we get it all. Really interesting. So for me, I learned when I was very young, going to concerts and enjoying. You musicians are fabulous people in so many ways. One time I said, well, everyone's looking at the stage. Let me just turn around and look at everyone else. And I keep doing it. And it's so much fun because everyone's so concentrated on that stage in that moment that you're talking about. And you start waving a little bit. And everyone's like, yeah. But everyone's smiling. They're intent. You have their moment, you know? And you're making that moment a collaborative that I was kind of referring to a little bit earlier, you know? So it's really, really special to hear how you get up there and you're able to bring it in and bring it all the way into a position where you know you're feeding them something and they're feeding back just because they're simply so in awe. Just staring at you the whole time.
Well, I mean, that's just perform. I mean, you're touching on some of like a couple other things in there. Like that is just like performance, and like that is like the energy exchange of being a performer. And like, if you don't understand that like innately, and you don't live that, like I don't know, it's tough for you to fucking do this. You know what I mean? Like it's not tough for me,
right? Because
I just fucking want to do that.
Well, you clearly have a special innate talent. It's part of your core, deeply so. You know?
Mean, talent or not, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just talking that. Like, I just think it's like an understanding of like. There's like a bridge to gap, and like I like to do that. Like talent or not, like talent aside, I just like to fucking do that. Right. I like to reach across the aisle to people. I do it with music. I do it in my job now as a barber. Like I really exist best in a place where I can like I can go somewhere and I can take somebody with me, or I can go down to where they're at. Like whatever it is, like
You're
I
a communicator.
Yeah, like I exist. Yeah, communicate. Yeah, tell my ex-girlfriends that. Yeah, let them know.
Joe, before we move on from that, because I feel like we're going.
Yeah, I'm very tangential, so
which is good.
You have to get
no,
me and rein me in here.
Before we move on from Batten, I just want to ask you one more thing. I heard that Rise Records called your personal cell phone,
up, dude.
But you didn't know. Like, what's the story with that?
Okay, so this is a true story,
and then we'll move on to something else.
This is a true story, and it was still, it's a little mystery still to this day because I even followed up on someone that was involved in it, and it still is vague, which is annoying. No, we were on a little DIY tour and with Mike Frazier, and shout out Mike Frazier, Seattle musician now, originally from Virginia. He's the fucking goat. Him and his wife Steph, two of my best friends, beautiful souls.
Nice.
So much. Steph has a book out.
That's what we call a success posse. That's what
dude. Well, they're very successful. Mike's very successful at eating cheese.
But he's part of you.
He's really good at that too. He's good at folk music and eating cheese.
There you go.
Steph has a book out. Oh my god, it's so great. Okay, so
I need to know the truth. So,
so what happened?
Records.
So we're out on this tour, and I get a call, and it was like this person, and
this
said,
is, mind you, this was what, like
2012.
2012?
It was 2012, and I get a call, and it was a California number. It was like a 310 or something like that, a 301 or something, and it was like someone saying like, hey, like listen, like we've been watching your band, we've keeping a little eye on you guys. We do PR for Rise. They didn't say they were from Rise Records, but they said they worked with Rise Records, and they were like, look, like we're looking at you guys maybe for some tours or something like that. But they were like, don't, we'll get back to you. Don't like reach back out. And I thought it was like some horse shit because I was getting some prank calls like around that time from the dumb people and friends of mine. They would always call. Like I would get a call every fucking week. It's like, what's up? It's Jeremy from Day to Remember. And I'd be like, sick, dude. What's going on? How's it going? I loved your last record. What's up, man? Like, how's Florida? Like, I just like it was horse shit. I just knew it was horse shit. So I thought this was one of those calls. So I didn't like really tell this person off, but I definitely was like, oh yeah, no, it sounds great. Sick, dude. Yeah. Okay. And like, sure, talk to you later, bro. And I hung up, and I just like I thought about it for a second. I was like, I don't know. That sounded like a little real. And like I don't know why. I was just like it just sounded a little legit, And like he gave me his name, and I was Mike. I forgot his last name now, but it was Mike something, and he gave me his name. See, I'm terrible at this, but I'm not getting signed to Rise Records right now. He gave me his name, and I looked it up, and I was like, oh shit, like. This dude is a PR person, like for real, right?
Wow.
And I was like, oh shit. I was like, huh. And like, it was like real specific. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like someone famous. They didn't even say they were Rise Records. It just was this guy. I was like, I don't think anyone would impersonate this. It's just too deep. So I was like, fuck. So I sent him a fucking email. I was like, hey man, I don't know if that was real. I'm sorry. Like, if my tone was off. Like, we're definitely interested. Whatever. Blah blah. Just looking to see if that was you. And then he just goes. He's like, nope, like, wasn't me, smiley face. And I was like, fuck, like, I fucking blew it with this guy. Like, he's just, you know what I mean? I fucking blew it. I was a dick on the phone.
Oh, man.
And that, like, haunted me for, like, ever. Because I was like, I wonder what, like, that was just so, it was just too specific.
It must have led to something. It was there for a reason.
If you call me and you're like, hey, I'm Elton John, I'm like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? But like, if you're like, I'm like, dude, what's up? Rocket Man sucks. Like, I like, it was just so specific to cosplay as someone from like the industry like that.
Right.
Sure.
So years later, I mean, like honestly, like a couple years ago from now, I have him on Facebook, and I fucking messaged him on Facebook. I was like, hey man, listen.
Really?
Yeah, I messaged
I'm so
Mike,
glad I asked you
and
this
I was
tonight,
like, dude,
I've been
look,
wondering for
and I
like
was
a
like,
decade.
I might be able to find it, but I was like, dude, like, dude, like, I need to know because someone called and fucking told me about.
Like, I haven't been able to sleep for 13 years.
Yeah, I was like, I will find it because there's only one dude on here. But he basically, I was like, hey man, like this was a thing. Like, was this you? And I think he was like genuinely like, dude, no, man.
Wow.
Yeah, here it is. I was like, hey man, like there's absolutely the most random inquiry. It's September 24th, my birthday, 2021.
You're like, I must fucking know.
So around 2012, a PR person. I told him the whole thing. He goes, hey, no man, def wasn't me. Must been some sort of scammer prank. Sorry. Damn, actually relieved to know that that's the truth. So,
okay,
it wasn't him, but I'm sitting here like, who would impersonate someone so fucking specific? Like, it's just so small.
Odd.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's odd.
Unless it wasn't.
So it's still a mystery.
Unless it wasn't him and I got the name wrong, but did I really get the name wrong from another PR guy? Like, I don't know now. It's just, it was dumb. It doesn't make sense anyway, because I don't know why a company would just call my phone.
Yeah.
You know, and be like, we're not going to email you formally. You know, we're just going to call you. Like, so that part's a little weird. So, but like, someone would have had to know he's a person in the industry and would have had to like make a very realistic prank. And like, I have a couple people it could be. I got some contenders of who it could be. If so, you know, and maybe I should call them up right now and on the phone live and be like, was it fucking you? But yeah, that's that story. It was very funny. It haunted me for a little bit. And I did think like, it did get my brain turning though, in terms of like, hey, like we were too young to understand how to take what we were doing to the next level. I was too fucking young at 17, 18. Like I was too young at like 18, 19 to even understand like, hey, we're pulling 150 kids a night, right? Like that's a good enough demographic test. How can we replicate this in other markets?
Exactly.
Even if it was just enough to show like fucking managers, labels, like whatever, like, hey, come see what we have going on.
Dude, if you can pull that in multiple markets, like you have much more than most acts that are trying to get out there and tour and, do the whole
and like
circuit.
we didn't have that outside of New Jersey, but it was like, yo, like something's happening.
But it's like once you make that click and you start expanding that to PA
Right.
and to New York and to wherever,
we just didn't make the
That's
right
how it
like
goes.
business moves to just be honest to God, to just be visible. Like we just need to be more visible, document what was going on. We have
Well,
the
it was
footage.
DIY, man. It's not like you had like a management.
No,
or
no,
an
but I should have like
agent
sent a
and
fucking.
whatever.
I could have just sent a fucking one sheet to Pure
But
Noise
like
Records.
you said, there was no roadmap.
You know?
There was no
No, there
roadmap
wa-
at that time.
there
and
wasn't.
So you were at the precipice. Like you were at a forefront of like what was happening.
Yeah, we were
And
like
we were able to see you guys do that and actually learn.
What not to do a little bit.
not that, but also like we could see like, okay, cool. Like how do we take it out of Jersey? That's why touring became such a massive thing for us.
But you did it so well with your most recent band with like America Part 2. Like you guys went farther than we did in terms of like the DIY touring. Like Batten didn't
man.
do all that. Like
Right.
I did it with other bands,
Right.
my whole life, but like not with Batten. Batten actually has a very limited scope of what we
was.
did do. It was just very influential here.
Yeah.
And Johnny and I talk about that all the time. That band only lasted like 3 years.
What?
I know, it's crazy.
Are you
It
serious?
lasted like 3 years, dude. I know.
That was in my
and we only
entire
put like
youth.
3 EPs. I'm just saying, like the scope of that band is so much smaller on paper. It felt like a lifetime. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And we talk about that too. We're like, it felt like a fucking lifetime being in that band.
crazy.
But like, it was only like 3, maybe 4 years, and like, it just was a thing where we played that show in 2020, 2022. Like a little 10-year reunion / like final show, a little farewell thing that we
Cool.
officially did as like adults. It was cool to do, and like my dad passed, and it was like a whole thing, and like, but we played it, and everyone that came to that show, I mean, you guys played, like everyone that came out, like the thing I've realized was like, wow, we were a part of so many kids, like high school. Like we were the background to so many kids' lives in whatever way, like whether it's a social event or they actually fucking loved our stuff or like they always went to our shows and like have memories of their friends. Like we played a role in other people's like, upbringing, right? Like, do you know what I'm saying? In the way that
Very
like
much
the years
so.
gone by and those bands did for us, like we fucking set out to do what we did the thing we wanted to do with that band in that way,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the ceiling could be higher, of course, but like, the fact I can't take that away. Like you can never erase the fact that like so many people were just like, yo, like we're nostalgic for you guys. I'm like,
Right.
dude, that's crazy. Like people I haven't met, like people I wasn't friends with, like people that were just genuinely younger than me. They're like, yeah, they came out and they're like, nah, dude, we like had experiences like at your gigs, and it was just like that's a very like
You're creating timeless music.
it's just a very special thing. Like it's something I don't want to ever like talk about lightly, and I don't give a fuck if we're not like that band wasn't famous or anything like that. Like I'm very big on the human element.
Well, it was more important than a famous band to us because it was right there. It was in our backyard. It was hometown stuff. And you guys also, on another level, were bringing cool touring bands to our towns. Major League was coming through because of you guys. Giants at Large was coming through because of you guys.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that made a big difference. Like it felt like even Knuckle Puck
Dude,
and
Seaway,
Seaway,
yeah,
all that
yeah,
stuff coming
yeah,
to town.
yeah.
Like and I feel like that kind of led to like having Neck Deep come to town and like all this stuff. Like it all ties in because the scene is so tight knit. Once you actually take a step back and look at it, everybody knows everybody, and your name, Batten Down the Hatches, was always in that conversation. So it's cool, man. And like I feel grateful to have been able to live through it.
Dude, see, this is the kind of shit, man. It's bizarre to me. Like it's
Yeah.
still weird. Like I am like, it doesn't matter now. It won't matter in 50 years. Like I am just a 16-year-old kid that just played to his dad and in front of a soundboard, and like
so
that.
cool.
Like I could give a Grammy speech and I could still be like, that's how I feel on the inside. And like I'm so grateful to have anyone give a fuck. You know what I mean? And like that humbleness there will like it just can't. It can't leave me. Like.
Well, that gratitude part of you, and that part of it is part of your servants too, and to feel that and give it out, that's tremendous.
No one. Listen, you can say whatever. I can go down as whatever, however, like, but no one will ever be able to say like I wasn't fucking grateful and serious about like the music that like I did and like how much I love it and like my.
I think your audience is telling you that, Joey. I think the fact that they followed you from all these years to where you are now, and seeing all the transitions and whatnot. And here you are, up coming on, was it the 13th of September, right?
Yeah, for See You Now. Yeah. I gotta say, like again, like that is another thing though. It ties back to the it ties back to like the smoke and mirrors of it a little bit. Like, we are still a local Asbury band. My band, Not Yer Baby, my current band I've been in for the past couple of years, which has been its own insane journey of, again, being supported and having an insanely supportive home crowd in Asbury Park and reliving all the Batten stuff with how fervent people are just as an adult now. It's so cool. I'm very grateful, right? That being said, like, don't get it twisted. Like, we're still like at the level we're at, like, yes, we're playing a massive festival, but like, you gotta, I say it all the time, like, one big show isn't just gonna make or break this band. Like, this is if people to give a fuck about something for real, you got to do it for real, and that for realness or that genuineness isn't overnight. So like, yes, and people are talking about my band now, like, in a way that's like a little bit like, again, they're like, mentally, we're on the big stage to everybody. Even if they're not in the crowd that day, like, people in town, everyone that knows what we're doing, they're like, oh my God, oh wow, oh, you're doing that. Oh, you guys are doing good. You're doing great. Mm-hmm. Dude, we're still a broke, like, working fucking band. Now, the festival helps us.
It's so cool that you say that, because you've been talking about a process the whole time. So you're still processing. And it's beautiful to hear that, because it comes out. Again, part of people that are coming back to hear you and whatnot, they're part of the process.
Yeah, I mean, but it is the whole thing. Like, even stepping up to play a festival like this is part of the process.
Yes,
but it's still a stepping.
It's not the end.
No, exactly. Like, it's our first.
It's not the
festival.
catch-all to your point.
No, it's not. And
it's a continuum, right? It's a continuum.
Right. If I was on here and like feeling like I was hot shit, it's like, I ain't, dude. Like, we're playing a big show. Like, it's what, honestly, playing See Here Now, it's what we make of it. Like, it's not just like they gave us the opportunity. We have to milk every ounce of it ourselves. Like, it's not. I don't talk about it in a way that's like, yeah, we're doing this thing. Like, no, dude, we're not. We can just, I actually don't want to play the festival and have it be just a cool story I tell my kids. I want to leverage something out of it. Totally. I want to get something beyond it because we did it, not just to be like,
and you're giving too. You're serving and you're giving at the same time. You're doing a lot of things that are good for people.
I guess, like, it's fun. I guess you're right when you say that. Like, you from your perspective, or a perspective of. Well,
for you, if we're talking about energy, that is. I mean, you are tremendous energy. All you actors and artists and singers and writers and anyone that's up on stage in front of people, I really admire, because again, it's that courage and all of that. But you're serving. You're not just yourself. We have to serve ourselves first to be whole. To go ahead and do what you do, and your explanation about, to me, it's part of me. There's no fear. Fear comes and goes. And is it part of courage? Yeah, there is. There's definitely courage in there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's literally no fear. I'm telling you, this doesn't even come and go, bro. It doesn't come. I'm telling you right now. That is not a flex. That is just like I am built. Like, what that is for me is an affirmation. My biology is like affirming that I am like made to do this, right? That is nice to know. Like, there are things that you put yourself through. Your body's like, you don't belong here. You know what I'm saying? Like, there you could be with a partner. I've heard insane stories of like being with the wrong partner, and like my ex, like, her body went crazy when she was with her ex, and after she broke up with him, she's like, I'm like normal now. I'm like, your body will tell you things. It's wild. My body tells me.
You gotta listen to it.
My body tells me I gotta be in front of a bunch of fucking people doing some shit, okay, some strangers or wherever, jumping off of shit, like rubbing my guitar on stuff, like sweating, being on the floor, like giving out. Like, my body is so comfy, and I get so locked in, and I'm so like, I can breathe.
And the cool thing is too, is for you, it is for you. Right? Like, it feels good for you. But at the same time, like, from the perspective that Kurt's speaking from now, it's like, there are people who watch that and like, they need to see you do that. It's like setting them free, at least momentarily, to just shake them up a little bit and say like, oh my God, yeah, I just had a hard fucking week, and now I'm seeing this band at a bar on a Saturday night, and I feel great.
That's interesting. I never thought.
It's hard for us to think about it like
so
that.
Locked on the other side,
I'm between you guys hearing that.
Massive
I'm like,
energy
yeah, like
on both
hearing
sides.
that. It makes sense. It's symbiotic, kind of. We work off each other.
It's so true, because I can't like Kurt, from where you are, right? Like, I'm be real with you. Even as a person in the crowd, to like seeing other bands, like, it's still so hard it's hard for me to conceptualize like not being the musician on stage. So like, where you could sit there and be like, or anyone who's not maybe who's not a musician on stage all the time, like, is just even friends of mine that are musicians that don't play gigs a lot, they're so mystified in a way of like, wow, like, how you do the blah blah this and that, I'd be scared, I'd be this, I'd be that. I'm like, or like, you know, the experience of seeing a band, like I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know. Like it's so normal to do that. I don't even think about what you get out of it. Cause I'm not even thinking about what you get. I'm just thinking about what I want to fucking do, and it's fucking rock and roll, man. Like I'm just living my religion up there. Like I'm living a fucking biblical fucking thing. Like
I want to go there for 1 second. You struck on something. So part of the different layers that we were talking about in the core energy dynamics are influencers and you know, the environment, social, mental, physical. Spiritual is one of them, and you're talking about that now. So, what's that mean to you? You know, that part of you that's just.
I don't really have like a like. I mean, like I grew up with like I didn't grow up with organized religion in my household.
We're not talking about organized religion. Talking about our spirit. We're all born with our own spirit.
Okay,
yeah. No, we're not talking about religion. Religion and politics, we're not big on this.
I'm actually glad you asked that because I was thinking about it today because I was thinking about actually tying the core into like what we're talking about now with Joey.
Yeah.
And I was curious too to know if like, because we've never talked about that, like if you do have any sort of kind of like spirituality that
well then in that case like massively, like I think
sad.
Like
there we
for
go.
not like all right, so like I'm gonna skirt a couple things, but like take, you know, just if I take I'm not talking like I'm not
are it.
Like I'm not talking about religion, right? Like I'm not.
No.
I'm not telling you that I'm not talking about religion. I'm telling you that I am not even religious to talk about it. So when I say these things, there's no religious connotation with it, right? I understand that. Like that's what I'm trying to make the distinction.
Yeah, thank you.
But I have this like yes, I have a very so fucking like conceit, like so just like privileged to be like, oh, for me, like I hate that. Like let me talk about me now, like a white male.
Yeah.
All right, no, but like my
that's not
like
part of your core,
if you're asking, it's like
we're asking.
Yeah. Like any content, dude.
Thank you.
No, I mean like my thing is like I'm very in touch with something, like my soul, like I could feel it.
Sure.
And like I'm a Libra and I'm very into astrology. I feel very strongly about that kind of stuff. A woman did not teach me it. I'm into it myself. Okay, I get accused of that all the time. No, I will guess your sign. I'll read your chart. I'll know everything. I got you. Okay. All right. Even you Scorpios, you little sneaky motherfucker. So I've always felt like very in tune with. I mean, I feel strongly. Obviously, I don't think I'm necessarily like an empath in that kind of way. Everyone like says those that are around. I don't think that's my thing necessarily. Not that I am not empathetic. I am. It's just that I just am very in tune with my own like harmony and what feels right.
Beautiful.
And like what should or shouldn't. And sometimes if it doesn't feel right, like I am really thrown off. Like I am truly the fucking scale of a Libra, and I could feel it. And like, it just has guided me to like what is the fucking real shit in this world. And like I've always felt like a sense of like deeper beauty with everything. Yeah. Deeper, not I don't know, but like everything under the surface for me is like so loud and just speaks volumes. And like these are like abstract thoughts that don't really make sense out loud, but this might be those little pockets of thinking and feeling might be like, well, that's where art comes out of.
But
you know?
So do you find that like being creative keeps you in touch with that?
Yeah, I like 100%. Like I right now I'm in a period like right now where I'm like barely doing anything because I'm like working so much, and I'm like working at like doing my new career, being a barber and stuff, and I'm putting so much energy into like school for that and like cutting hair all the time. Like Alex will tell you, I'm on like 12-hour days.
Sure.
7 days a week right now. Like not even exaggerating, not like saying some hyperbolic shit. I am 7 days a week. 4 of them being doubles from morning to night. I've been up since 7 a.m. this morning out of the house. And I have more to do when I get out of here for See Here Now stuff. So like, I don't have a lot of time, but like the minute the minute it hit September 1st and there was like a slight chill in the air, and I just felt like myself because I'm a fall baby, and like I just felt like myself like so strong, and I was just like I need to sit down and like play guitar and like just fucking write songs and like feel stuff. Like my thing has like always been like I need to translate. Like in my music, like being creative for me is always like I feel these things in these pockets of like it's very hard to put this into words, which is probably good because it's legit. But like when I'm creative, it's music, and then when I'm doing music, it's like I am trying to translate some kind of fucking feeling or appreciation or sentiment of something that's not musical. So like, how can I get you to understand like how I feel when I'm in like my childhood neighborhood on like a crisp fall day, like walking through, you know, everything that fucking built me as a person, right? And like all the fucking whimsical thoughts of what my life could be like, and how like connected and beautiful fucking nature is, and like how I'm a part of that. And
There
like,
you go.
how could I turn that? Like, how could I put you there? And like, that's not musical. How can I make that musical? Like, I want you to know, to feel all these things, like walking through the fucking empty streets of Asbury Park at like dusk. Like, how can that, what does that sound like? You know, what do these things sound like? What does it sound like sitting on a fucking porch having a life talk with one of your friends in fucking Virginia? And like, you know, I like what, there's all these moments I like go through and things I feel, and some of them are fucking abstract. Like, they are just abstract. You know what I mean? But like, how can I translate that into something tangible so you can go sit there and do that? And like, my goal is always not, my inspiration musically is typically not like the core of it, you know, before the sounds, before the song structures and the tones, is not musical. The reason that I felt something from the Edge's guitar riff, right? I was too fucking young to understand. Like, I don't give a fuck that he's using a delay pedal. I don't care what a chorus effect it is. I don't care what the fucking technique is. Like, it's making me feel this fucking thing. And I need to translate that. So like, that did that for me. I need to keep translating that. So for me, being creative is like constantly translating these like abstract fucking feelings and sentiments I have. And I don't know how to explain it beyond that. It's like you know, I am usually looking for harmony. I am usually looking for fucking peace. I am usually yearning for fucking something. Like, it's all those little intangibles. I'm trying to translate that. So yes, playing music keeps me in touch with that, as to who I also, it just makes me feel like a person, you know? And there is a really good power, not a really good power, there's like the ultimate power in, nothing for me is stronger than listening to a fucking song I made. Like, if I go listen to the mixes of the tunes that we recorded, I'm just sitting here like, yo, I did this. Like, I brought my, like, I can bring someone somewhere with this. I brought myself somewhere with this.
From
you know?
nothing, too.
Yeah, I talk about that a lot, actually. I say this a lot, too, to people, is like, if you talk about creativity, and I'm hijacking this right now.
Yeah, go.
Try to stop me. Try it. Let's shut this whole fucking thing down. Okay, like in the laws of physics, right? It's, you basically can't, like, everything is something, like, it's matter, and it can't be created or destroyed, right? Something just becomes something else, but still always been there, right? It's energy, always been there, right?
Yeah, that's energy.
Okay, I feel like music to me feels like it breaks that. It feels like we're doing black magic here, because one minute this thing doesn't exist in the world, and the next minute a song, like, you have a melody, you have chords, you have a thing, like that, you're creating something, like you're pulling it out of the fucking void. And you can argue and be like, well, that's energy that you translate into that, sure, but dude, like, it's pretty fucking close to like you said, this thing didn't exist and now it does, and it just fucking comes out of nowhere.
Well, it's creation, right? I mean, you're giving birth to something.
Yeah, you feel like and I don't mean,
the question is, like, did that exist somewhere in our world before that, or is that coming from somewhere else?
I mean, fucking probably, right? But I guess that's the closest you could feel to being a god when you're making art.
Well, yeah, you're a creator, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah,
the creator, right?
It just it didn't exist.
It's in the language, yeah.
It just feel, and even when I put songs together, I'm just like, this is just wild, because it's like, this wasn't here. Like, where'd this melody come from? Like, I'm just putting a melody on a chord progression is such a fucking dark art that I literally couldn't explain to you. And even there's some fucking dude out there for sure with a music channel that's like, well, you know,
the thing is too, the weird thing about it is that you know when it's right.
Yes.
You know, that's the weird thing about
Yes.
it, is that, like, you could make up a melody and put whatever on top of a chord progression, but there's a difference between that and it being the melody on top of that chord progression.
Right, and just it feels right to you. I mean, I know we're running away from like what you were saying there, but like, essentially, yes. I very much believe in energy. I very much believe in, like, I'm very like spiritual in terms of how things are. I'm very like,
That's great.
Vibes, like juju, whatever you want to call it. Like, I really do live by that as a person.
Drawing from our own spirituality is a tremendous asset. And, you know, you learn it at a young age, obviously, and you're still excelling in it. So it's really quite interesting. I want to bring something up, because we're talking about, you know, where does it come from? What is that? So the world of energy, we talk about fractals. I'm just going to touch on this real quick. It's really a derivation of arithmetical understanding of the constellation of the stars, et cetera, much like astrology. So I'll just leave it at that. But in the fractal world, the fractals are all around us. So imagine this. We're in the womb. We're whole. We come out. What happens? Boom. It was like a puzzle. Pull a puzzle out of the box. What happens? Boom. The pieces. What do we do with the puzzle? We're sitting there and we're trying to put it all back to the whole. That's what we're doing in life. So we have our own energy. I must say, I brought up the spirituality. We have our own energy fractals. Our own energy fractals, no one else's, that are around us all the time. And the firmer energy that feels like it needs to fit will come in. If we don't acknowledge that immediately, energy will start to drain. And it'll start to go sift away. It will still circle around because it's part of that piece of the puzzle that's going to come in. What you've been demonstrating is that all these things you've been doing have been all these fractals that you've been able to capture and bring into your whole. You get it? I know it's a little bit out there.
No, I think I get what you're saying. Like these, like what you're basically saying is the stuff that's supposed. I mean, you're essentially saying the stuff that's supposed to be, like, when it's like it won't fucking disrupt your. It's like it's only adding to your whole. Like it's not supposed to fucking be there. It does stick out.
Well, it's like you said before. When it's wrong, your body feels it, right?
Yeah, it's like you know.
So when you're putting words and music together, lyrics, all that, all you guys, when you're doing all that, whatever it is, those are those moments like, wow, how did that come out? What trick? And you just say no. That's part of the fractals. That's part of your energy.
Right.
That's coming into your whole.
I think you got to throw that. I think for any like single dudes out here listening to this, which it's a podcast, a bunch of men, so there probably some single dudes listening to it. You got to throw that out at the bar. You got to go up to a sweet little honey and just be like, "What's up, baby? You part of my fractal?"
Right? Yeah,
it feels just right for me. You know?
I'm bringing the word back.
The one problem with that theory for me is that I didn't come out the womb. I was cut out of the womb. I was a C-section baby. I busted out early, dude.
I didn't want to get graphic.
No, I busted out, bro. I busted out 3 months early, John.
Sure.
Yeah, I did come out whole. Oh, yeah, my mom knows it. I busted out early.
God bless women. That's all I gotta say.
I busted out real early.
Bow down to women, man. For a lot of reasons. That's certainly one of them.
That's a cool way of putting that, man. I mean, I think it's funny you tie it to the other thing with the body. Like, it's all the same. All these things are the same.
Well, we're trying to quantify shit.
Yeah, like you're saying the same.
It's there already.
It's all the same, like, principle. It's just how can we spell it out?
And it's the same thing as different genres of music, right? Different genres of music will speak to different people, but a lot of them are saying the same thing or achieving the same feeling, to different people.
Right.
But so I do want to tie this into, so going back to your kind of timeline, right? So we have Batten over here, we have See Here Now and Being a Barber over here, right? So I'd like to kind of bridge the gap between there. So there was a period where you stopped playing music for a while. Can you tell us a little bit about why you stepped away from music or what caused you to step away from music?
Yeah, everyone was just a bunch of posers, dude. And I was just like over it.
Everyone was a phony.
Everyone was just a fucking phony, dude. It just sucked, dude. Yeah, I mean, I guess, obviously, like, you not knowing me, like, that probably sounds a little alien.
A little bit.
From the rest of the story you just got.
Since you've been flowing with such, energy coming together.
Yeah, there's some dark ages for sure.
We all have them, my friend.
Yeah. Now, and again, like, I will preface all this by saying, like, it feels like it's a privilege to get to talk about, like, anything that's happened to me that's been hard because, like, other people and situations in the world and, like, there's innumerable things that are, like, people have it
This
crazier,
is part of what Alex and I are trying to do with the core energy dynamics and this podcast, so we appreciate this.
Right, yeah. Like, I'm just trying to, it's not, like, I don't feel special for anything that's happened to me in the negative way. Like, some of the shit's fucking crazy, don't get me wrong. And there's something we can get. I think the most I could say to this is, like, if me telling the things that have happened to me, someone can get something out of that, then it's worth me sharing.
Now, you've been doing that all your life, bud.
Yeah, it's just,
Come on, Joey.
And it's all subjective, but, the hardest thing to happen to you is the hardest thing to happen to you. And it feels the same way as the hardest thing that happens.
And listen, it gets up there. Don't get me wrong, it gets up there. But
so true. Alex.
Sorry, like, all right. So I'll put it together. Like, basically, like, the first, like, genuine, like, real fucking piece of, like, real life adversity, like, shit, like, hitting the fan in a way that was like, it won't go back. November November 9th, 2017. I can tell you. I woke up after a tour. It was the next day after a tour, and after getting my ears cleaned, 'cause I got wax in them. It's a long story with that, but basically, I woke up after a fucking run of shows, and I had a ringing in my ear, and it's called tinnitus.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching part 1 of episode 18 of the Core Energy Experience featuring our good friend Joey Dicamillo. Make sure you subscribe and like so you get notified when part 2 comes out in just a couple weeks. Thanks again for your time and energy. On behalf of Kurt and I, your mind is your power. Stay empowered.